Let me hit continue, not leave meeting. Okay.
Yeah. You guys, so Dreaming of Diamond, we have the most amazing speaker tonight. We've obviously packed the house for this gorgeous, beautiful friend of mine who I love, Raya Moore. She's going to tell you everything that she feels, led to do tonight. And I'm just going to open it up. Like, you just go for it. Let's do this.
Let's do it. I'm gonna go for it. Okay, y'all. Thank you, Sadie, so much for inviting me tonight and letting me speak. I love talking about plexus, y'all. I get super duper excited, super passionate. I will try not to go on and on and on, but there's lots that I want to share with y'all. So bear with me. And I get excited. I'm from Louisiana. I start talking fast. So but it's also late. So I maybe like really like get the Texas drawl though, because now I live in Texas. But anywho. I'll get started. Like Sadie said, my name is Raya Moore. Like I said, I'm from Louisiana, live in Texas now. And so I'll just give y'all a little bit of background before I really get into the meat of what I wanted to talk about. And that is, like Sadie was saying, leveling up. And so a big part of that, y'all, is sacrifice, right? A big part of that is sometimes there are just things that you have to sacrifice. So before I get into that, I'll just give background about myself. I worked in big pharma for nearly 10 years for a big diabetes company called Eli Lilly. And I was in New Orleans. And New Orleans, one thing we have a lot of is diabetes, right? So I was busy with that, with Eli Lilly there. And then Katrina hit. And so that was just crazy sauce. And I ended up being in Baton Rouge and kind of commuting. Then had my first daughter. She was born super duper early. She's a big part of my story. She was born at 23 weeks. And when I was in Baton Rouge, she was in the NICU for 8 months. And I decided I didn't want to go back to working in New Orleans. I wanted to find something in Baton Rouge. Went into what my career is in, what my graduate degree is in, which is community health and development. Then I ended up leaving that to be her caregiver. So also during that time, went through a divorce, all kind of stuff, exciting stuff. Yay. Okay. So anywho, got remarried, moved to Miami and decided and left my career to be with her full time, because when I was in Baton Rouge, my mom helped me take care of her. So anywho, I like to give that background because Claire, my oldest, she's a really big part of my story and my testimony and why I share so much about plexus. And why I did not want to go back into working in an office. So fast forward a while, 2 more girls, right? So I'm a girl mom, I have 3 daughters. We now live in Texas. Tried to go back to work for a little bit, y'all. And it didn't work. It didn't work out. My poor child, my oldest, she was missing all kinds of her therapies because, she's an occupational, physical, speech, feeding, all that kind of stuff. My youngest at the time, I hadn't had my 3rd one yet. We put her in daycare. She got bit on the cheek, burned on the hand. And my husband and I were like, you know what? We just got to make it work. We just got to figure this out. Right. And especially with Claire, my oldest, one of us needed to be there. And that's always what we decided from the get-go, that I liked having that role, right? I like that role of always being there for and being her like healthcare manager. Even when she qualified for home health nursing, I was like, nope, I'll do it. I'm not a nurse, but I'm a mom. I'll do it. I don't want anybody else taking care of my child. So we're always in that mode. And so that's kind of where my thought process was. I went back to work and Sadie, I was actually a recruiter for a healthcare company here in Texas, but I was in the office with no windows and I did that for 3 months. And then I was like, deuces. So we'll figure this out, right? My kid has missed like all of her specialist appointments. She's digressing, So I tried direct sales, y'all. I heard somebody selling jewelry became a millionaire, right? So I was like, oh, I'll do that. Now, y'all, I don't wear jewelry, like not like talking about it. Okay. That's a Louisiana term, means I don't wear jewelry that much. Okay. So, and I never even touched this jewelry. I just went online, sales, jewelry. And so I was like, oh, I don't want to do this one because everybody and their mom is doing it. Everybody I know is doing that. So I signed up for some other jewelry company, had never heard of y'all, but it looked cute online. Anywho, that didn't work out. So and I started strong, but I got tired of doing the parties and everything. And then it wasn't anything that I was really passionate about, right? No, and I'm not knocking anyone who sells jewelry at all, but you really have to find something that you really want to pour into. So then I was like, okay, I'm gonna try something else. And I tried these other like products that I still use to this day. We're what do you call it? A clean, toxin-free, chemical-free home. And so I really did love these products. A smaller company, most people haven't heard about them, but and I still use them. I still order from my girl, and did good. But the difference. It really was their commission. It really was the commission, and really feeling passionate about the products. So Interplexus, right? A friend of mine, and I like to share this is my third go at direct sales, y'all. And I really did like those first two. I was like, okay, I'm gonna do it. Yeah, I'm gonna do it. Yeah, and you start out strong, and you're doing your parties, and you're buying all your displays, and you're all excited. And then after a while, you're like, I don't feel like inviting any more people to my house, and then it just kind of like it just dies down, right? And I was like, okay. And the second time, this one I'm gonna do it. This one I'm gonna do it. Same thing happened. Difference with Plexus, y'all. The difference with Plexus is that it makes a difference. It makes a huge difference. It's helping people be healthy, helping people be happy. It is highly consumable, right? The commission structure is just redonkulous, commission plan. So that's how I got into Plexus. My friend Robin, I went to undergrad with her. She had been talking to me about Plexus for like 4 years. Yeah, about 4 years. And I was like, I don't want to hear it. By this point, I'm already super duper into the wellness industry. And by this point, I was a Pilates instructor. So I'm a Pilates instructor and a bar instructor, and have a certification with the Institute of Integrative Nutrition as a health coach. And so Robin's telling me about this, and all I'm seeing is these before and after pictures, right? So I'm thinking it's a diet pill or something. I'm like, I don't want anything to do with that. Then she said the word gut health, and gut health and inflammation are my jam. Okay. They were my jam before Plexus. So I got started on that. I tried that, got my daughter started on it also. I was a retail customer for 2 years, and I would buy the probiotic, and I would buy the kids' chewables. And then I was like, okay, I'm really liking this stuff. Let me get this little welcome pack. And what's this little rocket right here? What does that mean? And she's like, fast start. You can do fast start. I'm like, all right, let me do fast start. So let's do it. Let's take off. And so I decided to hit the ground running. Now, here was my thought process, y'all. And here's where we get into the meat of it. I was thinking, hey, I'm doing direct sales, right? Because I want to be there for my family. I want to be present, and I want to have control of my own schedule. So there really was like this crossroads, right? I started strong, fast start silver, fast start gold. And then I definitely was not stuck at gold, right? I mean, taking a few months to get from gold to senior gold is not a bad thing at all. And so but in my mind at the time, I was like, man, I went really fast silver. I went really fast gold. Why is it taking me like months to get to senior gold? Yada, yada. So anywho, that was kind of my thought process. And I'm thinking, I'm doing things right. Like, I'm having events here and there. But I'm not going to do anything that takes away from my family, because that's why I'm doing direct sales. Right. So I remember seeing a training. I think it was Tara Castaneda. She did a training, and she was kind of the same spot that I was. And she was like, I was at gold. I was trying to get past senior gold, couldn't figure out how. And I decided I'm going to do events, however and whenever I can do, in person, Zooms. I'm just going to do events nonstop. And I saw this training that she did, and I said, okay, I'm going to do that too. Like, anytime I can do it. And she said literally anytime, any evening she did a Zoom, anytime she could do in person, she did in person. So that's when I started saying, okay, if I'm gonna get to senior gold, I'm gonna start doing these events. So I was doing Zooms like as much as I could. I was doing in-person events. I would do like 2 to 3 a month at my house. Most of the time I was the only one there, but I just kept doing them, y'all. A lot of times unless my aunt came, if my aunt came who lived in Houston, then she was my one, right? And I was getting her products for her, but I was all right. So I would do them during the day. I would do them, on the weekend and everything. Some people would show up. I remember one time I shared on our team page, our larger team page, with all my sideline sisters that I'm doing an event. So one person showed up, but it wasn't my guest. One of my sideline sisters who lived in North Carolina invited someone who lived in Katy. She came, she signed up, and I put her under my sideline sister, of course, but it was just so funny. I was like, somebody came, they didn't start under me, but they came, and that's good karma. That's good karma. I was not going to let her leave without starting with a welcome pack. So, and I gave her products and everything. I was like, Ebony will take care of you. Anywho, good karma. But I'm saying all this to say, I was doing my events, I'm doing my Zooms. And a friend of mine, a really close friend of mine, Adrienne, we went to undergrad together. She's like a gut health geek like me. And so I've been talking to her like, hey, Adrienne, you really need to, she had signed up with a whole welcome pack.
and she was getting her products. She got her sister started. And we were talking about her doing a launch event at her practice. She's a dentist here in Houston. And so she's like, yeah, I'm going to do it. We scheduled it, y'all. This is where it gets mind blowing. So we scheduled her launch Zoom in like one in October, right? I signed up in July of 2019. And so we scheduled her first launch Zoom in like September, October through 2019. And then she was like, Raya, I have too much going on. I can't do it. Got to push it back. I'm like, okay. So we pushed it back to November. And then November came and she's like, I got to push it back again, Raya. I can't do this. I'm like, okay. So she's like, how about December? No. And then she was like, that's too busy. Let's do January. I'm like, okay, January. January came. We scheduled her event in January. And she's like, oh, Raya, I can't do it. I got to move it again. So I told her, I said, Adrienne, this is the last time you're going to move it. I'm gonna let you move it one more time. And this is the last time. I said, because I'm going to show up to your office. Whether you're there or not, I'm show up, whether you were inviting people or not, I'm going to show up with my products and my presentation and my little Plexus catalogs and my pink drink. I'm going to be at your door knocking like it's the Mervins and I'm saying, open, 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 right? That old commercial. I was like, I'm going to be there. So that was February 2020. Lo and behold, my oldest daughter, Claire, right? She decided that she wanted to do, she had been doing, I told you I talk a lot. I love this story. She had been doing Special Olympics basketball. This was the first time she was doing a mainstream league, basketball league. And she was so proud, so excited. And y'all, they made it to the playoffs. I did not think that was going to happen. Okay. I was really not worried about the playoffs being that weekend. Okay. But they made it to the playoffs. And so guess what, y'all? We didn't know what time the playoffs were going to be, but we were told what date the playoffs were going to be. And I was like, no, it was that date that Adrienne was finally doing her launch Zoom in February 2020. And I was just like, no, I can't miss her playoff game, right? And my thought process was, this is why I do direct sales, so that I don't have to miss these kind of things, right? So that I can be present. Da, da, da. And then I was like, actually, Raya, no, it's not. Like, it's not so that you don't have to miss anything, right? Any of the weekend events. It is so that I can be in the carpool line, right? It is so that I can have control. I can have control of my schedule, but it's not so that I don't have to sacrifice anything, right? That's not why I'm doing direct sales. And so I told myself, look, Raya, if you're going to be serious about this, about these events, you finally have someone who is doing Adrienne's launch event is actually happening. It'll work out. Do not cancel. Because I almost canceled. I almost said, Adrienne, now I have to reschedule, but I didn't. Remember, this is February of 2020. Okay. So Adrienne does her launch Zoom, of course, and the event, not Zoom. I keep saying Zoom. I'm so used to Zooms. In-person launch event. Okay. It was in person. So it was at 3:00. We found out that Claire's game is at 5:00. So we live in Houston. Well, I live in the burbs. I'm about 45 minutes from Houston. So I'm like, okay, I can maybe make the end of her game. Anywho, we have Adrienne's event and it's a great turnout. It's a wonderful turnout. A lot of people are there. It's successful. One person, a lot of people started, we had our laptops up. People are, because whenever we do our events, we have different laptops set up. We have products. And if you purchase and start right there, you walk away with a free product because you want to get people started while they're there. So we're signing people up. I'm talking to one person. She's one of Adrienne's colleagues, Dr. Petrie. And as I'm signing her up, I'm telling her about the Plexus Lexus program. I'm like, this is a real opportunity. And she's like, I need a new car. And she's like, what do I need to do to get the Lexus? And I'm like, okay, this is what you need to do. And so she's like, I need that car. I want the Lexus. I want to go to Hawaii. This is February 2020. And then Dr. Petrie also, she told me when we were sitting there signing her up, she said, the other times Adrienne had this event, I couldn't attend. But when she told me that she moved it to this date, I was excited because I could attend, right? I could be here. So that's February 2020. And then as we're standing there, Dr. Petrie says, I want to do an event like this. I want to do one of these launch events. I said, okay, let's schedule it right now. Because I'm like, if they say, you want to schedule it right there, I'm like, girl, pull out my phone, pull out your calendar. When are we going to do it? So she decided to do it the last weekend in February, or no, the very first weekend in March. This was February 22nd that she signed up. The very first weekend in March is when she was going to do it, or when we scheduled to do it. So, and we did that first weekend in March at Dr. Petrie's office, right? March 2020. Are you following what I'm saying here about this 2020 stuff, right? March 2020. So, 4 months later, Dr. Petrie was enrolled. And 4 months after Adrian's event, in-person event, 8 months after Adrian's in-person event, Adrian was sapphire. And let's see, that was, do the math. Let me do the math, y'all. That was February 2020. So let's see, February to July, February, March, April, May, June, July. So about 6 months later after that event, I ranked diamond. I almost did not do that event. And I couldn't reschedule it because it was February of 2020, right? So if that event had not happened, y'all, it would not have happened because the world shut down right after Dr. Petrie's launch event. And we just started getting back to in-persons. The world shut down like literally the next week. And so from Dr. Petrie's event, Renisha Robinson, who we were talking about, she joined, she went Emerald 4 months later. So also at Adrian's event was another person who went Emerald in 7 months. So y'all, all of this stemmed from this one event that I almost did not do, that I almost canceled because I thought I'm doing this so I can make my kids' events. Why in the world would I miss my kids' events? But I had just, my upline, Robin Sullivan, had just done a training about the guy who stopped digging for gold, who had been digging for gold, and he stopped after, because had gone so long, and he stopped and later found out that he had stopped like 2 inches or something before he actually would have hit gold. She had just done a training on that. And I remember thinking to myself, what is this? What if this is the goal? What if I'm stopping right before the gold? Not realizing that I actually was stopping right before, would have been stopping right before the diamond. So that, I want to share this with y'all. That was in February 2020, my points were, I had 215 points. I finished February 2020 with 215 points. And then in March of 2020, I had 569 points. In April of 2020, the very next month, I had 1,285 points. The very next month, 2,169 points. The very next month, June 2020, I had 3,445 points. And in July of 2020, I finished with 4,797 points. I had 215 points when Adrian did her event. And 6 months later, I had 4,797 points. Now, we worked hard, right? We worked really hard in that time. The world shut down. People were not tired of Zooms yet. People were wanting to get themselves healthy, their immune system strong, multiple streams of income. So we were doing a Zoom every like 6-7 Zooms a week during that time. But I'm saying this to say, had I not sacrificed that going to my daughter's first mainstream basketball game, because she was so proud that she was playing in a mainstream league, and no knocking Special Olympics. We love and adore Special Olympics, but she was just so proud. Had I said, I'm not making that sacrifice, I don't know where my journey, I'd still be with Plexus, but I'm just saying, I don't know where my journey would be, because I started Plexus to make an extra $500 a month. My husband was like, babe, if you could just bring in an extra 500 to 1,000 a month, I'm like, okay, that I don't want to teach that many Pilates classes a week. So I'll, let me do some direct sales. Right. Because I'm tired. I'm not trying to be that flexible. Right. So anywho, I'm saying this to say, y'all, that those sacrifices have to be made. You do have to make those sacrifices. What are your non-negotiables, right? And what are you willing to sacrifice when you have this goal and when you have this mindset? And I decided I'm going to do events. Events is where it's at. I saw that train. Events, that's where it's at. That's where it's going to be. So I decided I'm not going to cancel this event. Go back to that day of Adrian's in-person event. And it was so cute. As soon as we finished up, Adrian and her husband, and she had her dental assistant there that day too. They were all helping me hurry up and pack up my truck so that I could make it back to Katie. Remember, it was 45 minutes away, to try and make the end of Claire's game. And y'all, I am running into that gym. As I'm walking into the gym, I hear Claire yell, give me the ball, give me the ball. And somebody passes her the ball. And she has mild cerebral palsy. So she doesn't dribble very well, right? But she always practices shooting. She always practices shooting. So her coach yelled, Claire, pass the ball, because she was just kind of standing there. And Claire said, no, I'm going to shoot the ball. And she took a dribble, just a couple of dribbles. She shoot the ball, shot the ball, we want to call it. And she made her first goal. She made her first basket, y'all. And all this was happening. I'm not even sitting down. I'm like walking into the door of the gym as I see all of this. Okay. and I scream, and all the parents start clapping because they know that she, she is different. She's special, right? They're all clapping for, they clap for everybody, but it was an interesting season. Let's just say that for Claire. And so I start screaming. I like run down. I'm like high fiving the parents. I'm like, I made it. I made it. I saw it. And they're all like, the other moms are hugging me. They're like, you saw it. You saw it. I'm like, yeah, I made it. I was here. And so it was just, it was beautiful, y'all. It was beautiful. And I ended up not missing the moment, right? I missed most of her game because this happened at the very end of the game. I didn't miss that moment though. And I also made that sacrifice for my business. Now, I don't know, like I said, I truly believe that everything happens for a reason, right? So I don't even like to say, had I not had that event, I don't know, because I don't, but I do not still be with Plexus. Don't know where I would be as far as rankings go, but that's not really the point, right? That's not really the point. I don't want you to take away from that, like, oh, and now I'm diamond. It is, the point is making those sacrifices and growing and learning and growing with my team, regardless of, where that where that rank is, because so many people from that event have changed their lives. So many people, aside from Emerald, aside from Sapphire, aside from Diamond. Tracy Petrie got her car, and her car, or her other car was just like it was not running. And she was like, I'm not about to ask my ex-husband for anything else. And so she has her own Lexus, right? And so she's changing lives, right? Adrian, Rachel, I'm naming people, Tiffany, Renisha, Dana, just all of these people, and I'm not even talking about like the Emeralds, but people are just, they're changing their families' lives and they're getting healthy. And I'm on this end too, with my kiddos, where I'm able to, get different therapies for Claire, different things that maybe, how our healthcare doesn't cover. My husband is able to travel less, be on the road less. Just it's less stress. We paid off our healthcare debt, because I don't care how strong your marriage is. When you have a heavy debt on your shoulders, it's just really heavy in your house. It's very heavy, and it was heavy in our house with the healthcare debt from Claire's last surgery. She's had 8 major surgeries, and so being able to pay that off is just a lighter feel in our home that I'm so thankful for. And y'all, I'd be doing this if I was, if I wasn't diamond and wasn't making a certain amount every month, because of what it's done for Claire, what it's done for me. Just a few $100s, I shouldn't say just a few extra dollars a month is huge. It's huge, and very helpful. So I just wanted to share, I could go on and on, but I just wanted to share what that one event did and what that one sacrifice did for me and for my business. And so decide at this point, decide, and you may have already, right? But I'm just sharing my story. But decide if this is really what you want, if this is really what you're going to go for, then you got to go for it. And even when no one is showing up, right? I had a lot of in-person events where I was the only one there, y'all. I made a gumbo and everything, and nobody showed up. My husband was okay that nobody showed up for the gumbo because he had more gumbo for himself. Okay. And my neighbors liked it because I brought them some gumbo. But I'm sitting here, I made my own roux and everything, and nobody showed up to this event. Right. So, I mean, you just keep doing those, right? Oh, I love her. She's clapping. I love it. Keep doing, Kim. I love your audience. So, keep doing the things, y'all. Just keep doing the things. So many Zooms where I'm the only one. I'm just staring at my square, just by myself. And I'm giving it 10 minutes. I'm giving it 15 minutes. Sometimes I was tired, only give it 5 minutes. I'm like, y'all didn't show up. So I'm just going in the Zoom because I was just tired. Let's be honest. Right. But I try to give it like 10 minutes, see if anybody hops on. A lot of people don't hop on. So a lot of times just doing, but you have to keep on doing them, right? You have to keep on doing them. People aren't going to show up to everyone. Every day is not going to be a winning day. You are not going to wake up motivated every day, sweet baby Jesus. You're not going to be motivated every day. You are not going to feel like getting on a Zoom all the time. You are not, but you have to be disciplined. You still have to do it. You have to have that discipline and that consistency, even when the motivation is not there. You got to do the boring things. You got to do the daily things. You got to make those sacrifices. That's what levels up your business. It is not extravagant things, right? Leveling up in your business is doing the daily, mundane, consistent things, regardless of whether it's 20 people, 20 squares on a screen, or 0, or just one, just you. but you got to keep doing them. That is what truly leveling up is. Always being there for yourself, for your business, for your team, even when you're the only one. So I hope that's my story, and I'm sticking to it. Let me look at my notes and see if let me see if I missed anything. No, nope, I'm good. Okay, I think that's all that I wanted to cover.
Okay, well, I was just mesmerized the entire time. So I love your story. I fought back tears because I did not know all of those things. And so I was pleasantly surprised. We are so thankful for you. Thank you endlessly for sharing. You have a story just like, so when I spoke to her team, we, kind of talked about what could apply, and I didn't even have to guide you, like you were already doing this. So it was absolutely perfect. We're so thankful for you. And everyone, I suggest that you follow this beautiful woman. She's incredible. She's very motivational, and she's just a leader in life. Of course, she's a leader in Plexus. So, Raya, we thank you so much.
Oh, you're so sweet. Thank you. I thank